I'd like to begin the meeting by standing and singing America, please. Have an invocation by Max Ziegler.
You all be seated, please. Today, I've chosen, instead of just a normal invocation, to read a couple of verses that I thought were appropriate for Don. And they're all by Helen Steiner Rice. There is no night without a dawning, no winter without a spring, and beyond death's dark horizon, our hearts once more will sing. For those who leave us for a while have only gone away, out of a restless, careworn world into a brighter day, where there will be no partings, and time is not counted by years, where there are no trials or troubles, no worries, cares, or no tears. In this restless world of struggle, it is very hard to find answers to the questions that daily come to mind. We cannot see the future. What's beyond is still unknown, for the secret of God's kingdom still belongs to Him alone. But He granted us salvation when His Son was crucified, for life becomes immortal because our Savior died. Life is eternal, the good Lord said, so do not think of your loved one as dead, for death is only a stepping stone to a beautiful life we have never known, a place where God promised us we would be eternally happy and safe and free. A wonderful land where we will live anew when our journey on earth is over and through. So trust God and doubt Him never, for all who love Him live forever. And while we cannot understand, just let the Savior take your hand. For when death's angel comes to call, God is so great and we're so small. And there is nothing you need to fear, for faith in God makes all things clear. One final one, which I think is very appropriate for Don, is the way he lived his life. Give lavishly, live abundantly. The more you give, the more you get. The more you laugh, the less you fret. The more you do unselfishly, the more you live abundantly. The more of everything you share, the more you'll always have to spare. The more you love, the more you'll find that life is good and friends are kind. For only what we give away enriches us from day to day. Amen.
Thank you, Max. In a tradition of our club, I'd like to ask that everyone stand for a moment of silence for Don. Thank you very much. You may be seated. As you know, Don was a very devout Kiwanian, and he was an ambassador for this club. And I'd like to know if there's any Kiwanians which Don helped to bring into the club, if you could please stand. There's two. I know Ron Henderson, who's gone before us, but he was excellent. He was very devout at what he was about our club. You know, I have a unique situation that Beth has asked me to add some humor, which I'm known for. Some people say it's alleged humor, but Don liked humor. One time I was having lunch with him, and one of our stalwart Kiwanis died. And I asked Don, I said, Don, are you going to go to his funeral? He says, no. I said, why? He says, he's not going to go to Don liked to go for long walks. He'd like to see people that annoyed him take especially long walks. But, okay, we'll have Tara Marrow. Met Don at the music therapy group, and she started Parkinson's patients. Don was a very active member in the group, and she will sing a few songs most requested by him.
Thanks. Hi. I am not going to talk too much. Lots of things to come today. But just to say that Don, we missed Don so much this past year. His spirit and just all of the wonderful qualities that he would bring to us each and every week. I'll do my best.
Thank you.
So Don loved this song. He requested it a lot. So much so that when Beth emailed me, she said, would you sing sometime? And I just so sing that with him. Summertime, and living is easy. Fish are jumping, and the cotton is high. Well, your daddy's rich, and your mama's good looking. Hush, little baby, don't you cry. One of these mornings, you're gonna rise up singing, and then you'll spread your wings and take to the sky. And on that morning, there ain't nothing gonna harm you. With Daddy, Mammy standing by. Summertime, summertime. Oh, your daddy's rich, and your mama's good looking. Hush, little baby, don't you cry. Don't you cry. Don't you cry. I particularly remember a time we were doing some deep relaxation, and I I was just walking around the group doing, sort of relax yourself and all that kind of thing. And Don opened his eyes in the middle of the relaxation, turned to me and said, "Sing some more." Okay. He was very much a sort of shut up and sing kind of guy. Loved his music. It's very special. This next piece is a song that actually Don didn't know. This is a piece that the group we put together this past year, but I felt it was particularly beautiful for today. And it's an Irish blessing song, and I'm sure that many of you know the words. The words are, "May the road rise to greet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. Till we meet again, may God hold you. May God hold you in the palm of his hand." And I'm going to ask a few of the musicians from the Parkinsons group, for music therapy group, who are sitting back there. They have their song sheets, and very welcome to sing along. And if you get the tune, you're welcome to sing. Music's to be made together. May the road rise to greet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. Till we meet again, may God hold you, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. May the road rise to greet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. Till we meet again, may God hold you, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Hold you in the palm of his hand.
Thank you, Tara. Excuse me. There were two Walmart greeters, senior citizens, and they were having a break together. One was just whining about all his medical problems, his aches and pains and the like. And the other one says, "Not me." He says, "I feel like a newborn baby." Says, "You do?" He says, "Yeah, got no hair, no teeth. I think I wet my pants." And another one was, Beth asked Don, he says, "Hon, let's run upstairs and make love." And Don says, "I can do one or the other, but I can't do both." And a Roman walks into the bar and holds two fingers in the air and says, "I'll have 5 drinks." Oh. Well, I tried. Thank you. Next, we'll have Joe Esty. Joe the Troubadour. Esty is a fellow tennis player of the Kenneys for many years. He's also the concierge musician singing country, folk, pop songs for your enjoyment. He wrote the music for Don's poem. Joe?
Move out a little lighter. called the Huron River. Like I said, Don wrote the words, Beth polished it up, and it sounded so good when she told me about it at the tennis one day. I said, hey, you know, that sounds like a song that Steve's interested, so I volunteered, and here it is. By the way, can you all hear me? Do I need that?
No.
Huh? No, you can't hear me? No.
Where's Mike?
Oh, dear. All right. Okay, let's try it again. Is this much better? All right. I am an urban river. I travel 200 miles from the highlands of Oakland County to Point Mulee. I grow as I flow past farms, villages, and cities, Dexter and Arbor and Ipsy. Critters large and small live in the shadow of my forest green. They are many but seldom seen, their sounds blend together. In a nature symphony, foxes, coyotes, barking, nightbirds calling, water falling. Oh, I am the Huron River, a mighty great place. Several kinds of water to wash your face. Parks on the route 182 at last count. Places to camp overnight. Oh, I am the Huron River, a good place to take your missus for hugs and kisses. Small dams add to the fun. Shooting through white water on a downstream run. I fill 150 lanes along the way, names of which are more than I can say. I, the Huron River, was born to play. But wait, on the horizon is a threat. A man-made crop with strange fruit, paper, diapers, car parts, bottles, condoms, tires, and coolers. Unless we care this magical spot. not. I am an urban river. I travel 200 miles from the highlands of Oakland County to Point Mooley. I grow as I flow past farms, villages, and cities, Dexter, Ann Arbor, and Dipsy. I fill 150 lakes along the way, names of which are more than I can say. The Huron River, was created for play today. I got to make a little correction in the program. It's Matt Watroba. You all know him from around here. Moved to Ohio. Singer. So this is off of one of his albums that I like very much. As a matter of fact, a couple of weeks ago I did a memorial service in Florida where I presently live. And this was the one that was very well received. I'll build from the lessons I learned from my youth. How will I leave? I'll open my eyes and my heart to the truth. That's how I'll leave this earth. How will I leave? How will I leave this earth? When it comes my time to go, how will they measure my worth? I will live on in those that I touched while I lived, on this journey of life from my death to my birth. That's how I'll leave this earth. It's choice and not chance that has brought me along. How will I leave? And show me the difference between right and wrong. That's how I'll leave this earth. How will I leave? How will I leave this earth? When it's when it comes my time to go, how will they measure my worth? I will live on in those that I touched while I lived, on this journey of life from my death to my birth. That's how I'll leave this earth. Someday we'll live on up in heaven above. How will I leave? I will live on through the ones that I love. That's how I'll leave this earth. How will I leave? How will I leave this earth? When it comes my time to go, how will they measure my worth? I will live on in those that I touched while I lived, on this journey of life from my death to my birth. That's how I'll leave this earth. That's how I'll leave this earth.
Thank you, Bill.
President Fred,
Yes, Bill.
tradition of Kiwanis is to have fines. So suppose a fine and all the Kiwanians who didn't wear their badge.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
There's one of them. That passes. Again, the fine is only on Kiwanis. So, sheriff. Don McEwen is our ace sheriff, but I know he's been fined. Okay, John will take it. As you know, Don was proud of his age, and he'd tell people that he was born in 1906. That was true because the room next to him was 1907. So, Renee Rob, Karen Renee Rob, is passionate about bringing sound and music to healing in the world at every stage of life. She's an inspirational vocalist, a sound healing clinician who embraces life. But most importantly on this day, she is Bill and Phyllis Rob's little girl. Aww.
I am the littlest one in my family. So today I'm here to share with you a little something that I learned earlier this year. Can you all hear me? No. No. Okay. So today I'm here to show you something that I learned a little earlier this year. And I had the chance to share it with Don at Fairfax. And I had the pleasure, yes? Oh, I'm not going to use it when I sing. Thank you, Michelle. I had the pleasure of singing with him in my frame drum. And as you know, as the Parkinson's sort of does, his voice got weaker and weaker over time. And I came and just sang songs that I thought the people there would enjoy. And one of the songs that I learned was his favorite was Edelweiss. And so it reminded him of his favorite little white dog named Star. So today I dedicate Edelweiss to Star and Don because they're together now. Okay? And now I invite you all to sit back and relax for the next about 4 minutes. This next song is just an instrumental song, but there's rain, and you'll hear the rain and you'll hear the thunder. And just know that tears, I believe, are the highest form of prayer. It seems that after we've shed tears, there's a peace that comes. So if you feel the need to cry, it's okay. And there's tissues around, so just ask someone to get one for you, okay?
was wonderful hearing Renee Rob. Now I'd like to have happy dollars. This is a tradition in our club where you come in and put up $1 for something you're happy, especially about a remembrance of Don. So if anybody would like to step forward.
It doesn't have to be Kiwanis only. Anyone, we accept money from anyone. My memories of Don are, oh, you're supposed to start by saying who you are. I'm sorry about that. I'm Max Ziegler. I have a happy $5. My remembrance of Don, I've been a member here, getting on towards 50 years now, but Don came in about 11 or 12 years ago, and the first time I met the guy, he just oozed cheerfulness. There wasn't anything about him that wasn't cheerful. He was cheerful in everything he did. And I'll never forget, he would come off the elevator here and there'd be 3 or 4 of us sitting along the back row. And the first thing he would do was jump about 3 feet off the ground and click his heels together. And we're all of similar age. And we're saying, there's no way that this guy can do that. But he did, and that started our day, and it went like that for the whole time that I knew him. Thank you.
Do I have a place to put this happy dollar? I'll get it. My name's Phyllis Rob, and I met Don Kenney in this room. I came to a luncheon as my husband's guest, and this adorable man introduced himself and started telling me jokes, and I fell in love with him that day, Beth. Friends sent me a James Taylor song this morning called The Secret of Life, and one of the phrases in that song is, we're only here for a while, so do it with style. And by golly, my friend Don did that. His chick magnet Lolita glasses are right there under his hat. And if he were here today, he would wrestle me to the ground for my butt glasses. I miss you, Don. I loved him, Beth. And to all his family, our sincere love goes out to all of you.
I'm Margaret Taylor, and I'll tell you about the first time I met Don. It was in 1995, and I just moved to Ann Arbor. I was looking for some tennis players. And I found a motley crew that thought they were tennis players. And here's Don at the other side of the net, standing there, and his hand is shaking. The paddle was going all over the place. And I said to myself, this guy can't play tennis. But I found out different. When that ball came back, it came back accurately and with speed. And that day on, I was playing tennis with Don for the last 10, 12 years, whatever it is, until he got to a point he couldn't play anymore. But after he quit playing, he still came to the tennis club and watched and rooted us on. Don really showed us the way to live. I love you, Don.
Cain. Don's a good choice to know. He was always upbeat and cheerful despite his disease. And always recall his wonderful sense of humor. He wears his goofy little hats, you know, to the meetings and tell these great stories. He was just so and he'll be really missed a great deal.
I'm Dale Leslie. And I always had a regret that I didn't know Don before he was ill. But then I thought, how short-sighted that is of me. Because I began to think about all the things I learned from Don
when he became a member of his club when he was ill. His perseverance, his dedication to his family and Kiwanis, his outwardly friendliness, and his sense of humor. I don't know how much more I could have learned from Don had I known him in the earlier years, because I learned a lot from him these last few years.
Hello. My name is Malini, and I took care of Don before he passed. He was a beautiful man, very interesting. I used to hear a lot of his stories, and when he wasn't able to talk, I know he was kind of frustrated when I wasn't able to understand him, because I would look in his face and he would have that look like, okay, I don't know what kind of other language I'm speaking, but I try, but I love Don as if he was like my grandfather. He was a really great guy. I'll miss you.
I'm Cindy Sloat, and I'm Don's daughter. And I actually was at a Kiwanis Club meeting, I think on 2 different occasions, so I've met some of you Kiwanians. And my father's Parkinson's, although it was a disease, was something he took full advantage of. You know that he loved garage sale. And I took him garage sailing in my neighborhood one day, and he had his walker with his basket in the front, and you know, he'd been looking pretty good the day we were spending together, but he really laid it on thick when we were going to this garage sale. And he bent over and he started shaking. And he pushed that cart up to the front of the garage sale, and he found something for $10. And he said to the lady, "Will you take $1 for this?" And she went, "Aw, he's so cute." She said, "Here, you can have it for $1, and this, and this, and this." It was magic. So anyway, when he was at the assisted living, some of you know we wrote limericks for him. The man loved him some limericks, let me tell you what. Now, I didn't write any dirty limericks. That's not my style. But I did write a limerick for him about this little garage sale trick of his, and it goes like this. A Kiwanian man named Don Kenney had garage sale skills aplenty. Though his bills were a wad, with a flirtatious nod, he'd walk off with the goods for a penny.
My name is Arthur Clarke, and I am a colleague of Don Kenney from Concordia University. Quint Marino and Bill Mahler are also here. They're also colleagues. Don and I have been close friends since he first came to Concordia about 1990, 1989. We both taught in the human resource program. We both were full-time faculty members, and we bonded immediately. We went to lunch often. We played golf a lot. I take credit for introducing Beth and Don to eBay. We did so many things together, and my last memory, Maria, my wife, and I, our last memory is when we visited Don and Beth at Lexington Place in late April. It was a very, very special time. One memory I want to share with you. Don knew that I had a Labrador Retriever, and I was commenting to him one day at golf when he was telling me about tennis, and I said, you know, I just love to find tennis balls at garage sales. And Don said, well, I play tennis, I'll bring you some tennis balls. And he brought me a trash bag with, I'm sure, 150 tennis balls. And what was so poignant is he said, may this supply of tennis balls outlive me. My friends, we have plenty of tennis balls left.
Hi, my name is Gail McKnight, and my husband Dick has Parkinson's. And Dick asked me to come up because Dick, like Don and Pat Norton and Tiff Baylug and a lot of other fine guys and gals, as the disease goes on, that voice of theirs goes down. And that, plus maybe his affection for Don also caused him to send me up here. As he says, with Parkinson's, the tear ducts are the first to go. Dick and I joined the group about 20 years ago. And it was scary because there were a lot of really sick people. And it's sort of like looking at your future. And that's a very scary prospect. But then we met Don Kenney. And Don Kenney was doing a lot of stuff for Parkinson's, doing a lot of stuff for life because he believed to live your life. And so he made the film for the Michigan Parkinson's Foundation to talk to people about how you can survive with Parkinson's. He talked, and Beth just smiled. And he did other things. He ran our group. He ran our group anytime nobody else would run the group. And finally he said, enough is enough. And that's when he and Beth got Dick and I to take over about 10 years ago, and they went off on their grand adventures. But as he would do these things, he always said to everybody, if you were new, you gotta drink 8 ounces of water with that pill if you expect it to do anything for you. A little dribble of water isn't gonna make that pill work. I mean, if I heard him say that once, 100 times. But he was right, and the doctors would tell you that too. He also always had the most positive attitude. And that's really what kept people coming, because he was so positive. And he also had the world's most wonderful wife who married him knowing he had Parkinson's. That's a brave thing to do, and our Beth is a brave woman, and we love her. Not as much as Don loved her, but we all love her. I think the thing that Don taught us all was that we all know there's only one date in our life that we're going to have, and that's the day we die. That's the only date of certainty. And so you have to live your life every moment in the present. And he taught my husband and a lot of other people with Parkinson's, that's how to do it. And that's how we've all faced this crazy disease, as Don said, just keeps on taking. And one of the fun things, that's where we got to meet Phil and Billias, was on Don's last birthday with Beth, and we were there, and lo and behold, it made Don ecstatically happy that Beth had gotten him White Castle cheeseburgers. Well, there isn't a person on this earth who loves White Castle cheeseburgers more than Don, except for Dick McKnight. And so the two of them munched away, as Beth said, chew, Don, carefully chew, so it goes down. But as Dick left, we said, what a wonderful birthday party, how fun it was. All that in White Castles. So Don got his wish for his last birthday, his White Castles and his cake. I am honored to know he and Beth, and they, along with many others, will remain in our hearts and the hearts of the members of this organization. They have been wonderful role models of strong people who walk through life hand in hand. Sometimes she leaned on him, and sometimes he leaned on her. But they have always been a grand couple, and that's the best way to deal with it. And we're here for you, Beth. We love you. God bless.
Well, I'm not a Kiwanian, but my husband Bruce's. My name is Peggy Kenney, and I met Don fairly late. I wasn't in Parkinsons support group when he was the leader. I came when Gail and Dick were in charge, but Don was really a fun, nice person, and we enjoyed him so much in music therapy class. He loved to play the drums, and I remember 2 Christmases ago he was going to do the solo for Little Drummer Boy. And some of you may remember that. But another thing that I remember is he came into music therapy one day with his award that Kiwanis had given him. And I don't remember exactly what it was for, but being a nice guy, maybe somebody remembers that award that he has on in the picture with the ribbon, and he wore it 2 or 3 weeks in a row. Anyway, I did like Don a lot, and I wish I had known him longer. And I enjoy Beth too, and so here's my Kiwanis dollar, my happy dollar.
One of Don's stepdaughters, and I have so many memories of Don, but I didn't want to start crying, so I wrote a limerick instead, like Cindy did. This is my ode to Don. He was once a great man from Del Rey. He loved many games in life to play, from feeding casino slots to bids on estate sale lots, and always armed with witty things to say. In his presence, everyone would smile. He loved making people laugh all the while. When he was asked, what are you up to? He replied, oh, about 6'2", knowing full well he was off by a mile. And that's why this ode is a happy one, because he's still somewhere having fun. Although he'll be dearly missed, I know he's now making a list of every known limerick and pun.
Hi, I'm Don's baby, his little girl, Kate. And I just have a really funny story to tell about my dad, and I think Beth probably helped me with this little concept, but I was looking for a cast iron skillet, and I live in Marquette, Michigan, and so I knew that on their shopping trips to garage sales and yard sales, they would be able to find a cast iron skillet, and he said, how large do you want? And I said, what was it, Kev? 14-inch cast iron skillet. If you can find one, that'd be great. So one spring morning, I hear a knock on the door, and it's the postman. And he hands me a cast iron skillet with my address written inside of it, and the postage put right on the back. And the postman still to this day says, I will never forget carrying that cast iron skillet on my trip. And Kevin my husband had to get some kind of scrape and clear the inside of the skillet off to get the ink off the inside of it. But he sent me a cast iron skillet unwrapped, and thank you. That was my dollar.
My name is Bill Rob. A couple hours in the pot. Anyway, I met Don quite a while ago at Kiwanis, and I just used to love the way his wry sense of humor and his just a wonderful personality. And I took him to Kiwanis many Mondays. I don't even know how long, maybe a year or 2 or months, I don't remember, because I'm old and I don't remember. So, but I pick him up every Monday, and we go by the corner of Plymouth and Green Road. And if anybody's been up in that area, every time we go by, he says, you know, that's the ugliest building I've ever seen. I mean, and it really is ugly. You know, I don't know who paid who off to be able to build that, but it's terrible. It's just a terrible eyesore. You know, you'd think maybe they'd put a pond in there or something, you know, but no. But Don was just a treasure, and I miss him a lot. And I remember one time, you know, he was kind of ornery sometimes, but he wouldn't do as he was told. So, you know, he'd come to the meeting, and I always had things to do at the end of the meeting to kind of clean things up. And 2 or 3 times, you know, I'd look around and, where's Don? He'd already gone down the elevator, gone outside, you know, and of course, I'm trying to take care of the guy. I didn't want to get in trouble with that. So, but this one day, he does this. He gets outside, and a big gust of wind came up, just knocked him right down. So now we had to go find bandages to bandage him up. And after that, I said, Don, listen to me. You will not move from this up here, until I am ready to go, okay? And he kind of looked at me sheepishly and said, well, but as I say, a wonderful man and a heart and a brilliant mind. He played trivia with us quite frequently, and he would always come up with answers to a lot of questions that none of us knew the answer to, but he would know. But it was so sad to see him, you know, I could tell that his mind was racing, and he couldn't vocalize what he was thinking. And that was the hardest part, trying to understand him. And every once in a while, I would say to God, speak up. And by God, he would, and then I could understand him. But then it would only last for, 30 seconds. Anyway, a great man. I'm going to miss him a lot.
I'm Vicki Klinger. I'm Beth's daughter, and I'm going first because I know I'm going to cry if she goes first. I just have a quick story, which is opposite of how I usually talk. After tennis, every Sunday we used to go to Flim Flam with Don for breakfast when he played tennis. And when he wasn't ordering potato pancakes or Hungarian goulash or whatever, if he ordered toast, he would always say to the waitress, make sure they butter it all the way to the edge. And I just thought that was so funny because I never would think of that. But it's a great idea. So I think that's kind of how he was with life. He just knew what he wanted and he got it. He took it, he made it happen. And that's, I think, hopefully how I'm going to try to be more like because of Don. I love him and I miss him already. So here's Anna.
My grandpa was one of the greatest grandpas in the world. He was really brave fighting Parkinsons, and in the end, I think he was super happy. He taught me to never give up and to live life to the fullest. When he fell down, he would get right back up again. I love Grandpa Don and I miss him.
My husband, Barry Wolf, has a problem with speech, so he asked me to say, one of the many things Don and I had in common was this illness called Parkinson's. Don taught me some important lessons: to be creative despite physical limitations, to find humor despite adversity, and to not give up. Remain hopeful. I will always be grateful for these gifts.
Hi, kids. I'm David Kenney, Don's son. I look in the mirror and I see Don. Not all the time, but he's looking back at me quite often. He instilled in me a love to learn. I love learning and communicating. It's a dying art, communicating one-on-one with another human being. Kids today gotta learn this. We honored our elders in the past, in our ancient past, because they knew where to pick the berries and what mushrooms not to eat. So we don't all have to eat the poison mushroom. Let's share our love and respect and trust for each other. Fred has given me permission to let you know that I represent Citizens for Alternatives to Chemical Contamination, and Parkinson's is directly related to chemical contamination. And I have some brochures, pamphlets. It's an organization that's started in Michigan, and it's spread to a tri-state area, maybe even 4 or 5 states now. So it's about justice for all and reduction of chemical contamination and alternatives. And I'll have some flyers and or papers in one of the desks in the back before you leave. Thank you. I love you.
Okay, I'm glad we're a happy group. We should be. We knew a fantastic person, and it was truly a pleasure. One of the times, Beth, in her younger days, she was invited to her son Jeb's house or apartment, and was introduced to a very attractive woman that said it was his roommate. He said, "Oh, there's nothing between us. It's just, you know, she pays the rent and she's got her own bedroom and the like." Okay. So they had dinner, and a week later the roommate comes and says, "You know, I don't know, but ever since your mother's been here, the silver plate, serving plate, has been missing. You think she took it?" He says, "Well, I don't know. I'll email her." So he emails her, "Dear Mom, I'm not saying you took it, and I'm not saying you didn't take it. However, ever since you've been here, the silver plate is missing." So she emails back, "Dear son, I'm not saying she's sleeping with you, and I'm not saying she is sleeping with you. However, if she was sleeping in her own room, she would have found the silver plate." Don't fool with Beth. Okay. Now, another time, you know, Beth asked Don, "What are you doing?" "Oh, nothing." I said, "Well, you did that yesterday." He said, "I'm not finished." So, I'm missing a, okay, if we could all stand for the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now Karen Renee Rob would like to sing the Star Spangled Banner.
Through the perilous fight.
Thank you, Karen and Rob. Now, one other one that Don played a little bit of golf, and as we know, his voice was faint, and he came up with a foursome senior citizens that were playing slow, and he asked to play through, and they paid no attention. They wanted to play, so they hit the ball out there 150 yards, and they're putzing along, and Don tees off and hits one of them right in the head. And they look up in the fairway, there's Don. So, the other one is we're also going to adjourn to the Pizza House for a buffet dinner and open bar located at 618 Church Street. Go east on Huron, it runs into South U, turn right, left is 4th Street, and there's a parking structure, a much bigger one, so that we won't have problems. It's second left, just off South U. So I hope you'll all come and continue the fun and frivolity of this fantastic memorial. So thank you for coming. Oh, yes, Al?
I'd like to propose that the happy dollars be given to the Parkinsons Association.
Is there a second to the motion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Oh, that passes. All right, good idea, Al. So we'll see you at the Pizza House then. Thanks for coming.